Bonjour! As you might have guessed, I'm back in Greece. So this week we spent the whole week in Kefalonia, and I haven't taken one photograph yet, and haven't done any videos, which I plan to do. So we're going back tomorrow, so I thought I need to get a video today. So I'm going to do a little video, quite a quick one really, try and get a few landscape photographs if I can, just so you can see what it's like in this area. So you can see behind me we've got the town of Sami, and Sami is one of the oldest, or if not the oldest, port in Kefalonia and Greece. But it's quite a big port. There's all these, we have like big ferries and cruise liners come here. So I think I might struggle with a few photographs because it's still being used. It's quite an industrial style port, but there's still some beautiful things. There's all these, what I'm sitting on now, you've got all these lovely big pillars and stuff, and they've got lovely rust on them, so you can get some close-ups of that. There's some fish in the sea, the water's crystal clear, and there's lots of jetties and things for the boats to moor up against, so I'm sure I can get some really good photographs. And just around the corner we've got a nice beach as well. So what I'm going to do is hang around here for today, take as many photos as I can, just do a quick video just to show you what Sami looks like. I've been walking along this main bit of the port at the moment. It's a really big, I suppose, slab of concrete really. There's a few bits of detail with some bits here we can tie your boats to, or the whatever those thingies that stick up are called. So there's lots of things around here that you can get some nice detail with. So I'm looking around to try and find something to get a bit of detail, because I really don't think this is going to look great as a landscape photograph. There is a nice little lighthouse thing right on the edge there. So maybe looking down that way I might get an interesting shot of the jetty or something like that, with that lighthouse in the background. But I'm just looking around this area now, see if I can get something interesting out of this. But because of this, there's just such a big slab of concrete, I think this is going to be difficult. But over there we've got a load of lovely tavernas, and we've got there's an older bit of a harbour over there, so there's some old fishing boats in there that I saw earlier, the old traditional style, so I might be able to get one or two photographs of those. So I'm optimistic about getting a nice photograph today. The light's still a bit harsh, but it's soon going to be sunset, so I'm just going to keep looking for some compositions and hopefully I'll find a nice one. I'm really struggling for a photograph here. I think it's the light that's the worst part. It's so bright, it's reflecting off this concrete, so I might have to come back a bit later, but I haven't really found a nice composition here anyway. So I'm going to head back towards Sami. There's an amazing amount of fish down here. There's tiny little fish. I don't know if you can see down there, but there's probably at least 1,000. They're just everywhere. There's some big ones underneath as well. So I've got my GoPro in the back, so what I might do is just poke that in the water and see if I can get some footage of these fish. I don't know if I will, I've never tried it, but I'll probably scare them off, but they do look pretty, so I'll give it a go. That's extremely frustrating. I went to get the tripod and attach the GoPro on top so I can poke it in the water and video these fish, but I don't have the adapter for my GoPro and the tripod. I've left it back at the hotel. It's kind of been, it's going to be one of those videos where I don't think I'm going to get any real wonderful photos. It's getting quite frustrating really, because it'd be great just to look under the water and see all the fish. So I'm going to carry on going away from the port. That is like the port bit really, and we've got all the tavernas and all these fancy yachts. I'm not really a yachty, boaty type person, so I'm not going to photograph those. I don't really know how to, but I do like the old-fashioned Greek boats, which I know are over there, so I should be able to get some photos of those, because that I think I'll find a lot easier, and I find them personally a lot more picturesque anyway. Oh, this video is not going to plan. When I was back in at the port at Sami, I did manage to get a little bit of footage of the fishes with the GoPro, but I managed to lean over a bit too far, so I got wet, so I've had to go and change. And so I'm now back at the port. Now we have the little harbour in front of us, but all the lovely traditional boats that we had earlier have all cleared off out to sea, so I haven't been able to photograph any of those yet, but we've just got these modern speedboats and they don't quite look very traditionally Greek, so I'm not going to photograph this now. The sun is just about to set behind the mountains behind you, so that should give me just enough time to try and get one or two photos. So what I'm going to do now is give up on the idea of getting an old traditional boat, but there is a little jetty going out to sea, so what I'm going to do now is just go down there and see if I can get a photo or one or two photos before the sun goes. Okay, this video definitely isn't going to plan. Not that I had much of a plan anyway, and that's probably the reason, but at least you could probably learn something from this. If you're photographing a port, there's lots of concrete around, so don't photograph it in the middle of the day, it just doesn't work. If you're going to photograph the fishes, don't fall in. If you want to photograph the old traditional boats, don't wait till they've cleared off, do it there. And then, well, I don't know, hopefully you should learn a lot from this video, and I'm going to learn. I'm going to plan next time. Hopefully this is going to end on a good note, so this is going to be like one of those videos that leads into a really spectacular ending, but fingers crossed. So what we've got here behind me, I've found this lovely jetty pier. I don't know how lovely it is, but it's probably symmetrical in the best photo I'm going to get this evening. So we've got a big slab of concrete going all the way out to sea. We've got over this side, we've got part of the mountains, and that's Agios Ephemia over there, so that's part of Kefalonia, and that side is something else, can't remember. So there's lots of different mountains in the background. We've got some really nice background to add some lovely viewpoints, because what you need in a photograph really, especially if you're using wide angle, because I've only got wide angle at the moment, is quite a lot of foreground, but then have that leading all the way into the background. Now something like this is great because I want to talk about flow, which is essentially when you're looking at an image, you'll have leading lines and things like that, so your eye is going to start at the bottom, and then hopefully there's leading lines, you'll push your eye around the photograph to a main bit of interest or something where you want to show the viewer. Now in this case, that is going to be this lovely scenery in the background. So we've got these beautiful mountains, and hopefully we'll get some nice light in the sky in a little bit. The sun is going to go behind the mountains in a bit, and there's a big bank of clouds, so I may or may not get any colour, I don't know. So what I want to do is have this flow going all the way to the background, and how I'm going to do that is by using this pier. So because I'm using quite a wide angle lens, what I'm going to do is get the sides of the pier right at the bottom of the image, and then just lead all the way up, and because there's nothing in the middle, it's not breaking that flow. The eye of the user is just going to go all the way up, and then each time that you come up here and you'll see the mountains in the background, and then you've got all this negative space either side of this jetty. So what's going to happen now is your eyes are naturally just going to lead up the jetty to the interesting mountains, then you'll see the negative space which will bring it back down again, and then hopefully the eye is going to hit at the bottom of the jetty and go back up again. So you should get this circular motion which goes around both sides of the jetty, and it's going to keep adding interest, so it'll keep the interest in your eye, so you can just keep looking at all different areas of the image. At the moment this water is a little bit choppy and it's not going to be very picturesque. I think it's going to be quite messy because you get a bit of reflection from the sun and a few light and dark bits. So what I think I am going to do with this photograph is put a big stopper on it, probably get about 30-second exposure just to really smooth this water out. It's not too windy today, so I don't think I'm going to get a lot of movement in the cloud, but it will just smooth off the water especially, and then I think that should make quite a lovely photograph. So I really do think I've got some great photos there, especially the last two, either the portrait or the landscape. I think it's been quite a difficult video, this one, and thank you very much for sticking with me on this one. It's just been chaotic, so I've really enjoyed it though. It has been fun, and most of the light is gone now, so I'm going to call it a day. So I really do hope you've enjoyed watching this video. If you have, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already, please subscribe. So thank you very much, and I'll see you next time.